Okay, so let's grab something to sit on and be comfy. So I'm on a bolster. You can be on a blanket. You can be on a chair. And just take a moment to settle yourself, which is just energetically acknowledging we're in this room, we're on the bolster, which is on the mat, and we're here. And that alone can take a split second because our minds can so easily be pulled in all directions. So it's our job to go, whoa, 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 let's bring it all back. So take our 5 breaths, eyes closed or not, whatever works for you. And the more often that we practice this, which is why it's called a practice, the more familiar it becomes, so that every time you sit in preparation for this class or any other class, or even your own meditation, there's a place that you return to. It's almost like a room, and it's very familiar. You just want to keep building on that familiarity. So continuing with our mudra exploration, which is linked with the chakra exploration, we're still in the sacral chakra, which is in this area, right? So we're working from the bottom up, root to sacral. And this is the last mudra within that context. And it's a little complicated. It took me a while to figure this out. So we're going to bring hands together, and you're going to kind of interlock and fold in the, if you can see it, kind of like that. Fold in the middle ring and pinky fingers. So they're interlocked and they're folded in. And that sort of naturally just brings the thumb and the index fingers into like this diamond shape. And this is the mudra of opening, which is interesting. I think I have to let somebody in. So you can just try to kind of play with that. Because it's a little less awkward than the last one that we did, but it still takes a minute. And once we're here, and I like to first check in and see what these words mean to me without the influence of I use this little book and these cards that have a lot of information. And checking in with myself really helps the process of considering and possibly anticipating the experience. So this is the mudra of opening, like so, and it is associated with the feminine. And we all have masculine and feminine. And to consider that is interesting. It's kind of expansive. I mean, women already have a lot of reference for that. So as we close our eyes, and you can just place your hands where they're comfortable and consider the idea of opening and what that means to you, and add in that it is associated with feminine cycles. And because it's a sacral chakra, it helps to bring attention to the sacrum, the lower back, and the pelvis. So we're going to take 5 breaths. And again, this is all for inner exploration. What does it mean to you? And all this talk about reopening, it's another reason I'm kind of interested that this is the next one that just so happens to be. So this whole anticipation of opening and what do we need to negotiate this re-entry almost, to something that we don't recognize. Take about 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. So let's release those hands and shake it out. So we can just bring those fingertips right onto the shoulders and go immediately into elbow circles. We'll try to make really big circles. 2 more. And reverse. 3. Nice. And let's bring those arms up and take a nice big reach. Forget about the shoulders right now. Just reach way up to the ceiling. And let those blades drop down. Then we're going to reach with the right and reach with the left. Right? So let those shoulders do what they want to do, but then remind them that they also have the option to slide down. So we'll do 1 more, reach with the right, reach with the left, bring the hands together, interlock the fingers, just turn for a moment, look up for a back bend. As you're back bending, draw the arms back, let the blade slide down, and just breathe into whatever signals you're getting. So we're going to come back, keep the hands up in palms together. I think I'm going to, let me scooch back a little bit. Maybe you can see me. So hands are together. We're going to interlock the fingers and bring the pointer fingers together, which is really interesting because that's a mudra too. It's the mudra of release. So as you draw the arms back, you're going to bend the elbows right where they are. Wherever the hand hits the head and the head hits the hand, we're going to press. So the hands or the arms press towards the head presses back towards the arms, and you might actually feel your shoulders release. And use your breath to allow that to happen. So the breath is the agent that allows transformation. And keep breathing and keep allowing the release of the shoulders. Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to do that 1 more time. So bring the arms up, draw them back. Perhaps you have more space. Keep the fingers interlocked with the pointer fingers extended up. Then the elbows, press the head into the arms and the arms into the head. And really allow those shoulders to release. So even the thought of that might actually result in the shoulders dropping down so that you can potentially get a little bend in the middle to upper back. So we're going to keep the hands back there, interlock all the fingers, but then open the palms and press them into the back of your head, a little bit above the base of the skull. And just tuck your chin into your throat. Let the elbows drop. And use the weight. And you can, once you get a full forward bend of the neck, you can actually add the rest of your spine by rounding all the way down to your tailbone. And pull your tummy in. So that is a signal for your vertebrae to open up. And use your breath. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Beautiful. And slowly bring it up. Release the hands. You're going to bring them behind the back and clasp the palms together. So if you're able to keep the heels of the hands together and the elbows soft, it really allows you to open up your heart and squeeze between your shoulder blades. So that's the main action. And use your breath. So when you're breathing here, you're breathing in the front of the lungs. Nice opportunity to use the lungs to open up the space on the outside. So it's the inside impacting the outside. You can keep the hands back there, bring them over to your right side and drop the right shoulder to the right ear. And if you have any inclination to like move your head while you're doing this, please do. If not, just hold it still and think of it as a side bend on the left. And also think about the left shoulder being a million miles away from the left earlobe. And then bring it up in another stretch. Heels of the hands together, elbows soft, breathing in the lungs. Let the expansion of the lungs open up the pecs. And then take the hands over to the left, drop the earlobe left. And again, if your body is telling you to move, go with it. Or else just drop your head and imagine the left shoulder being a million miles away from the left earlobe. And let it go. Another extension back. Opening up. Inhale, exhale. And let's bring the arms up. Let the blade slide down. Take the right hand. Hopefully your right foot's in front. And we're going to take a twist. So first twist. Be kind. Realistic expectations. And use your abdominals. So when you hit your edge, you're going to lean the right shoulder to the right knee and bring that left arm up. And open it out. So if you have a tendency to round, you want to open instead. And then reach through those left fingertips. Breathing really deeply into the space above the hips, below the ribs. We're going to stay here and just take a little rotate to bring both hands alongside each other. And use your abdominals. You can also look behind you, just to include your head and your neck. And bring it back and let all that settle in. You might notice a whole difference on that left side because we opened up the back ribs. We're going to switch our feet. Let the arms rise up or float up. You can take a twist to the right. And realistic expectations. First twists don't go that far, but it doesn't mean that the mechanism isn't the same. You're not searching for that corkscrew. It's just a different edge. And once you hit that edge, you're going to lean over to the left. Again, try not to round. Try to keep it open and reach through the right fingertips. And breathe. Nice. And then we're just going to take a rotation over to the left. Watch those shoulders. If you pull your tummy in, suddenly your shoulders might release. And look behind you so that we include the neck. Nice. So when we come back, let's remove whatever you're sitting on. Toss it over to the side. Bring soles of the feet together and immediately fold forward, lower back. So in order to really get into that lower back, keep your feet a pretty big distance away. And let's fold forward first. And always pulling your tummy in. And after the next breath, we're just going to take a little walk over to the right. Imagine the left butt extending back so that the rest of your body can go forward. Bring it back to the center and over to the left. Whew. My back's pretty cranky, so I'm just using my breath quite a bit in that lower back region. Opening. We're opening. And bring it back, slowly opening. Bring it back to the center, fold forward. Maybe you go a little further. And carefully and slowly bring it up by stacking, right? Or hinging. So we're gonna keep the left leg folded. We're gonna bring the right leg out to the side. By now, you know we're always reaching through the heel and we're trying to keep this leg parallel, and another fold forward. And this is a challenging fold, so you might not go that far. And we're gonna love our edges and only go as far as our edges let us. Have a little conversation, a little agreement, right? And then we're going to take a walk over towards the straight leg. So every little change to your body shape allows messages or signals to come from a different place in your body. It may be very subtle or it may be very profound. And then we're going to turn that into a twist. It's kind of your job to read the signs, read the signals, interpret the messages. And when we come up, we're going to take this straight leg, bring it behind, and all of you know by now what you can expect from this pose, pigeon. For some people, it's no big deal, and for some people, it's a big deal. So we're going to stay here for 5. If it helps to stay up higher, please do that. But this is all, again, we're opening up hips and we're literally targeting the lower back, sacrum, and pelvis, which is the focus of the sacral chakra. And since this is the last reference we're going to make to it, because we're going to move on next time, or maybe the next time after that, don't know. Beautiful. So we're going to come out of this pigeon. Bring the left knee into the arch of the, the right knee into the arch of the left, and take another twist. Swing it over to the other side and roll. Front of the hip, we did the back of the hip. And bring it on back. Baddha Konasana, fold forward. Appreciate if you can go further, but that's not the objective. The objective is to wake yourself up. You're going to fold the right leg in, stretch the left leg out, reach through the heel, fold forward. Pay attention to the messages and interpret them. How much attention do they need? And then walk over to the left, bringing this whole right side into the equation. And you'll know when you're folded enough, at which point you turn that into a twist. And pull your tummy in. Your body registers how different that feels when you include your abdominals, and hopefully at the end of all of that, so after practicing for a while, it becomes second nature. And you don't even have to kind of ask your body to do it, it'll just do it. And then we're going to swing that left leg around for your pigeon. And if being up higher helps you square your hips off, do that. Think about the fold on the right and the unfold on the left, always reminding your shoulders that they don't need to be up here, at least for this hour. We want them down. Bringing the left knee to the arch of the right foot. So it's the right arch kind of wraps around the knee, twisting to the left. Include your head, so look as far back behind you as you can. And rolling into the left. If you want to go a little further, just walk your fingertips around yourself. And come on back. Let's slowly and carefully end up in cat-cow. Just take a moment to kind of feel the support of that tabletop. And it's so aptly named because the table is very sturdy, right? So you want to think about the arms, and in this case, it's the thighs holding you up. So we're just going to inhale, cow, exhale, cat, for 4, for 3, and 2, and 1. Next cow, just inhale forward and then sit back on your heels. Let's stay here for a couple of breaths to rock back and forth, and you might actually feel a little release in your lower back. Feels kind of good. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, sit back. Inhale. Exhale. For 3, and 2, and 1. Back to your child. Let's stay really compact here. Take a little walk over to the right. Sit the hips over to the left. And keep awakening that left side. So we already did side bend, so this should be a little less intense. Walk it back to the center and over to the other side, hips to the right. If you want to make it more intense, you can take the right hand over the left. Inhale, exhale. When we come back to the center, let's find our way back to tabletop. Just gonna do a little balancing here. Extend the right arm, left leg. We're just gonna stay here for 5 cylindrical breaths. If this is really easy, i.e. not challenging, make sure you're concentrating on your abdominals and you're cylindrically wrapping. So when you're in these planks, it's a cylindrical wrap to engage the full impact of the core. We're going to take the right hand, bend the left knee, and see if you can grab onto that foot. And again, this isn't that challenging for you. Make sure you're concentrating into your abdominals and training them to do their job of supporting your center. And let it go. We're going to extend left arm, right leg, 5 breaths. Picturing that cylinder, it's the actual shape of the abdominals, the 4 layers of the abdominals, and clearly the deepest layer is the one that you virtually can't feel. So you have to use your imagination. Then we're going to bend that right knee, grab the. So when you use your imagination and picture that cylindrical shape and it all kind of squeezing into the center, it's actually strengthening your transversus abdominis, which is the most important abdominal area to protect everything, particularly your lower back. And let it go. And sit back on your heels. Rock back and forth to release your lower back. So when we come up, we're going to be on our knees. If anybody has problems with the pressure on the knees, grab a blanket, and we're going to grab a couple blocks as well. And I'm assuming that you all have a lot of room in front of you. So if you're not situated at the end of your mat, place yourself there. So when we come up onto the knees, I want you to feel that whole action of the stacking, right? So it might help when you picture that to get your hips like right underneath you and your shoulders right over your hips and your head right over your shoulders. So we have alignment. We're starting off being quite aligned. So we're going to take these blocks behind us. I'm going to suggest to keep them up high so that you don't mainly strain your lower back and your knees, right? And we're just going to take a little lean. So this is another version of a camel. A lot of people have a problem getting into a camel from sitting on your heels. So instead, we're doing this specifically to fire up the quads, right? And the blocks will keep you safe. And therefore, you can regulate how far back you go. But the idea is to swing your pelvis through. That's the most important action here. And use your breath, and then use your abdominals, and you'll feel how that actually broadens the experience. And then we're going to bring it up. So get yourself balanced up again. Stay where you are. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see what we're doing next. So you don't change, let me change. So we're here up on our knees. We're going to take the right leg out to the side. Make sure your alignment isn't too compromised. Float the arms up and take a side bend towards the right leg. So as we're doing this, you might have to readjust your hips so that you get a real comprehensive stretch. And let your right arm slide down if that's available to you to go a little bit further into that. Nice. So we're going to bring it back up. I'm going to take that right leg and step it in front. May not be too pretty. To find ourselves in a half monkey. So with this half monkey, let's make sure our alignment is set up correctly. And you want this foot to be where lined up with the hip and this knee right underneath the hip, right? And then we're just going to take a couple of breaths to play around with squaring off the hips. So naturally, the hip of the right is going to want to hike up. So you want to have a little conversation and go, no, we're not going up, we're going down. And then we're going to take a little kind of deep hip fold so that we give that quad, but at the same time use your abdominals. Beautiful. So come on back to a neutral place. Bring the arms up and take a little middle to upper body back bend and use your breath. So we're going to fold forward, fingertips on either side of the front foot and sit back to a runner's stretch. Imagine the heel of the right foot moving away from the buttock bone of the right leg. And try to stay square. You're going to have a little twist here. So take the left hand on the same side as the right hand and use your breath. Inhale, exhale, and keep stretching through that Achilles. When we come back and we bring it back to that half monkey, bring the arms up again and lift. So we're playing strength on the bottom, power in the center, grace above. Bring the hands behind the back, clasp the palms together. We're going to take a fold until the right shoulder, the top of the right shoulder, rests on the top of the right knee. It's just a destination. Release the hands. Let the right shoulder come inside the right knee. Walk the fingertips over to about 10 o'clock. And extend the right butt back. And extend the crown of the head forward so that the back unrounds. And breathe. When we come back to the center, both hands on either side of the front foot, leave the left hand right where it would be, where the left foot would be, and we're going to take a twist. Twists are always the same. The range of the twist depends on the depth of the core, no matter what shape you're doing the twist in. Bring it back to the center. Bring your right knee back next to the left, and we're back to this pose. So it's just like standing, except you're on your knees. Grab your blocks and lean back. So this time, if you feel like you've kind of lengthened those quads, you can turn the block and then lean back, comfortable, and swing the pelvis through. So this is the same thing as a bridge. When we bring it back to the center, feel that stacking action. The left leg is going to extend out to the side. Make sure your hips are still aligned. Let's make any adjustment you need to make. Make sure your hips are square. Bring the arms up and take a side bend on the right. So again, those of you who have a tendency to round, kind of open it out a little bit. It's almost like turning your chest and your nose up to the ceiling, but you're not actually doing that because that might tweak something. One more breath. Right side is getting extended. And bring it back. Bringing the left foot in front. So we end up in this half monkey. Arms come up. And we lift. So rely on the strength of the legs. Concentrate into the power of the core, but then allow for the grace to rise. Fold forward, fingertips on the floor. We're going to sit back to a runner stretch. Reach through the heel so the heel moves away from the buttock bone. Stay here. Before you move, make sure you're unrounding your back. Then we're going to stay here and take a little twist. Breathe. And contract into your abdominals. So when we come back to our half monkey, make adjustments if you need to. Bring your arms up. And again, strength below, power in the center, grace above, hands behind the back, open the heart. Keep your elbows soft. We're going to fold forward until the top of the left shoulder lands on the top of the left knee. Release. Walk the fingertips way out so that the left shoulder ends up inside the left knee. Take a little walk over to 2 o'clock and extend into or press back with your left buttock bone, SI joint. Unround your back. And when we come back, leave the left hand down on the mat where the left foot would be and take a twist. And one more breath. Beautiful. So come on back. Sit back in your child's pose. Now we're going to prepare to do the sequence. I'm just going to give you a couple of breaths to let all of that settle in. And it's really nice to appreciate and savor that sense of comfort that a child's pose brings. So after the next breath, we're just going to go right into it, right? Just do it at a really nice pace. 5 rounds. Inhaling forward into your upward facing. Exhaling back to your downward facing. You're going to wave it forward to your plank and wave it back to your dog. Come on down to your knees and sit back on your heels. So with the breath, inhale. Inhale becomes an exhale. Your exhale with the wave becomes your inhale. Exhale, dog. Inhale and back. Inhale forward and through, upward facing. This is 3. Exhale, downward facing. Come on forward. Go on back. Down to the knees. So we're going forward. We're going back. We're coming forward again. We're going back again. We're coming forward again, heart. We're going back again, tummy. One more. Unfold. This is a fold. This is another unfold. That's another fold. This is another unfold. And back to the heart. And again, let's stay in that child's pose and notice how your breath might be getting a little bit richer, a little bit deeper, more velocity. So we're going to turn those toes under and carefully and slowly come up to your hang. Looking at your feet, you're going to press the balls of the big toes down, and let's find the outer edges of the heels and press them apart. Doing a lot of lower back stuff, so if you allow for this to flow, this energy, it'll flow all the way up to your sacrum. And use your breath. Slowly use your abdominals to roll up. And take a moment to extend the fingertips down and squeeze the shoulders up. You're going to do 4 more of those. So extend the fingertips down and squeeze the shoulders up. Shoulders down, feel the armpits, squeeze the shoulders up. I think 2. And I think 1. So we're going to bring those arms out to the side. Do a little shoulder opening here. Keep the arms heavy. Roll just the shoulders, then the arms and the hands. We know this one. And roll just the shoulders, the arms, and the hands. Add the pinkies. So shoulders first, arms, hands, pinkies down. Shoulders first, arms, hands, pinkies up. Shoulders, arms, hands, pinkies. Shoulders, arms, hands, pinkies. And then find like a neutral place, but your arms are still heavy. Turn the palms down, flex, and extend. You want to feel the heel of the hand, and then you want to feel across from the thumb to the pinky. and breathe. Floating the right arm up, hold on underneath that wrist and take a side bend. I'm going to do 2 on each side, so pace yourself, bring it back, other side, pace yourself, don't go too far, unless you want to. Other side. This time you're going to reach through the heel of the left hand. You can shift your weights, your hips over to the left and really extend to find that space above the hips, below the ribs. Other side, up and over. Extend through the heel of the hand, above the hip, below the ribs, and bring it back. So we're going to keep these arms up. And I'm going to do a few rounds of this so that if you're not familiar with it, you can watch me a couple times. I'm just going to fix the computer. So we're going to bring the arms up. We're going to try to come up onto the balls of the feet. And I say try because it really takes concentration. And on the other hand, you know, if you're not able to get up there the way you want to, you have to think about your toes and rely on them as your foot. So we're going to stay up here for a breath or two, and then we're just going to bend the knees and bring the arms hip height. Drop those heels and come back up. So it's a small movement, but it's very challenging. So come way up on the balls of the feet, arms shoulder height, bend the knees. You'll know when to stop. Really, I'm not going all the way down. Drop the heels and come back up. And up for 3, bend, concentrate, drop the heels, and bring the arms back up. For 2, drop, and come back up, and 1 more. Whoop. Drop, and come on up. Shake that out. Very strengthening for the legs, so don't be surprised if you felt that in your legs. And since we're here, I'm going to do a little balance sequence. Starting with the right, balancing on the left. This is just a prep. I'm going to hold on underneath the knee. We're going to try to stay here for 5. And there's all sorts of things to pay attention to. Unless you're wobbly, and then you have to pay attention to the wobbliness. Otherwise, forget it, you're done. So then we're just going to take this leg out to the side, manageable, meaning don't take it out too far because then it becomes unmanageable. And then across your body, over to the left. So I'm having a big challenge with a wobbly foot. So again, it's all about concentration. Doesn't help that I'm talking either. So if you can, you're just going to take that right foot and cross it, whoops, figure 4, cross it over your knee. This may be quite enough. If you can, here's that seat again. As you can see, I'm having a really hard time. So we're just going to breathe, trying to be here for 4. Whoops. And 3. Woo. And wow. So if you're still there, if you're lucky, unlike me, you're going to cross that right foot over the left, cross ankles, fold forward, and take a little walk over to the right. You'll actually feel that. It's a relief for that left leg and hip. And when we come back, you're going to uncross and roll it up. And then we have the other side to do. So let's see if I'm a little bit steadier. That's all it is. On the right, I'm going to hold on underneath the left leg for 5. And just because we're not trying to accomplish anything other than balancing, don't worry too much about the form here. And then 5 to the left. So a little less wobbly on this side so I can pay more attention to all the little details and the nuances. And then cross over. Whoa. Two more breaths. If you can, you're going to cross that left ankle over the right knee. So just as a little reference or a little side note or footnote, I used to be able to stick all these balances. But as soon as I turned 60, it all changed, and it hasn't gotten any easier. I'm not going to say better, because I think it's an unrealistic expectation to think that I'm going to stick the balances the same way I did when I was younger. So we're going to take a fold forward. Left foot is crossed in front of right, so ankles are crossed. And walk your fingertips over to the left. And breathe. And the more you drop into this, the more you're going to feel your lower back. Coming back to the center, just uncross and slowly roll it up using your abdominals. Wherever you are on the mat, find your way to the front. We're going to do some sun salutations. Feet are underneath your hips. Take a nice deep breath with your hands in Anjali Mudra or reverence. Inhale, bring the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Stay here with your fingertips on the floor. We're just going to lift the left leg. Doesn't have to go very high. So we're going to try again, practicing our balance. Take one hand off, take the other hand off, both hands, no hands, and breathe. I'm going to step that left foot back to a warrior one. Take a couple of breaths here. I like to take the time to set these up. So specifically, you want to make sure that the right knee is over the ankle. And I always like to check in with the back of the left, the outside of the left foot, and use the breath. So again, here we go. Strength below, power in the center, and the lift and the grace above is what we're going for. So I want you to pay attention to your base, to your strength, and don't change it, because we're going to go out to a warrior two. Right? It's very distinct. Keep it quiet and strong. So we're going to stay right here. Tip it back into your peaceful. Straighten the right knee and take a side bend on the right. Don't forget to use your breath and keep your heart open. So when we bring it forward, you're going to take it either to a supported, extended right angle, or you can take it all the way down But we're going to do 3 of these. So from here, you're going to go back to your peaceful. Inhale. Exhale to your extended right angle, whichever one you choose. Inhale. You can do a modified one, and then the last one you can try the full. Inhale. And we're going to stay in this right angle and really extend through that left side. And we're going to do a little fancy stuff here. So you're going to take that arm, the left arm that should be over your head, you're going to place it in front of the right foot and over to the left. Shift the weight. You might need your blocks here, so grab them. I should have told you that before, I'm sorry. And here's another opportunity to balance. One more breath. Step the left foot next to the right, fold forward, reverse your swan dive, and back to the heart. Inhale, bring the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Extend the right leg, doesn't have to go high, and you can play around. Get 5 breaths, either stay there or challenge your balance again. The right leg's the rudder. Nice. And step that right foot back, warrior 1. Take your time because you want to set up your frame, square your hips off, acknowledge your base, your strength, engage your power, your abdominals, open it out to warrior 2. Stay here just to let the arms become heavy, and then we're going to take it to peaceful, bring it to extended, and inhale to peaceful, exhale, extended, arm overhead, last one, extended, arm overhead. Take that right hand, bring it in front of the left foot over to its own side. Use a block. Don't forget to reach through the heel of the right foot. That's going to anchor you back. And again, we're challenging the left leg. Inhale, exhale. And step that right foot next to the left. Bring your heels together and come on down to your ballet squat. And if this feels really, really good, just take a little walk over to the left and bring it back to the center and over to the right and back to the center. And let's end up on our butts, seats. Again, you do what feels right to you. Meet yourself where you are. We've done several different variations of these boat poses, and I intentionally do them in stages. So, gonna stay here, 5 breaths. This is all to practice pulling your tummy in. So that's the hardest thing to remember. But if you're gonna be doing these boat poses which strengthen your abdominals, you might as well make the action in your abdominals. When you let go, it gets harder, and you're going to want to kind of open up your pose, but you're going to try to keep it really tight. Knees towards chest, but also keep your heart open. Hopefully your hip flexors are not screaming, and if they are, that means you're not using your abdominals. So let's all come out of that just because we woke everything up. And again, this is your choice. If you're feeling a little stronger, you might want to start to add these other variations. And if not, don't worry about it. So we're going to come here, and you can choose how far you go. We're going to try to do 10. So it's heels down, jackknife up. Heels and shoulders down, jackknife up. right? So we're going to try to do 3 and 2. I'm sorry. 4, 5, 6, 7. Tell me 8, 9, 10. Can stay right here so that we keep everything active. And then see if you can bring the hands behind your head. And we're going to do left elbow to right knee, right to left, right for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, breathe, 5, and 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Oh, whatever you want to do after that. Giving you an option. I'm going to take a sip of water. Let's extend the right foot straight. Bend the left. Keep that left foot on its own side. Bring the left elbow inside and fold forward. Using your breath. Using the heat. Take advantage of the heat. And after the next breath, hinge it back up. Take that left foot on the outside of the right. If you can hook, hook. If not, just hold on like this. And deepen your twist. Always using your abdominals. So they might be complaining because we've been using them a lot. And you can listen to them if you want to. Or you can say, there's very little left of this class, so let's stick with the program. When you come back, you're going to take that left knee and drop it on top of the right thigh. Try not to have it like sit on top of your knee and fold forward. This is the one that you're going, you got to be nuts. However, we are. And reach through that right heel away from the right buttock bone. 2 more breaths. And sit up. And we're going to take this right foot and move it over to the left side of the mat, wherever you can grab onto the foot. And check in with your shoulders and remind them that you're not invited to the party. The party is all much lower. Party is in the sacral chakra today. Just so happens. And bring it back, switch. Fold forward. If you're not feeling it in your SI joint, you can drop that right knee out to the side a little bit. When you hinge it back up, take that right foot on the outside of the right knee and either hook it or not for a twist. Try to use your abdominals. One last time. Come back to the center. Bend that right knee, drop it, fold forward. This is where I get to share with you that sometimes it's hard to differentiate between crazy and fortunate. So perhaps we're fortunate that we're so crazy to do this. And I feel fortunate that you people allow me to do this crazy stuff with you. Take the left foot over to the right side and take a twist. and bring it back. So since we're right here, we can just easily go into a comfortable seat. Hands at the heart in a gesture of reverence. And it's reverence to the greater world around us. It's reverence to our community. It's reverence to just being alive. And then it's reverence to yourself. Very broad, encompassing. Nice deep breath. And there is a fine line between being crazy and being fortunate. It's a play, again, between external and internal. So as we bring the thumbs to the bridge of the nose, and the thumbs are right under the higher self or your third eye, just take a moment to breathe that whole thing in, the micro to the macro, the finite to the infinite. All these beautiful spectrums, and understanding that the spectrum is where the magic happens. It's where transformation happens. Keep the thumbs together and bring them over your heart. And this is the mudra of harmony. Harmony is like blending. It's pleasant. It takes you to another level. Maybe it takes you toward that idea of being fortunate. Those fleeting moments that we feel harmonious. Hands out, palms up. Being available either to give or to receive. And hands back to the heart, fold forward. Namaste.